I'm going to touch on hell, the different forms of hell that we know today. Okay? Now, we got the first form of hell. Well, the different form of hells that the Bible speaks of. You know, it's three forms of hell. When you read the word hell in the Bible, there's three different forms of hell when you read hell in the Bible. You understand? Are we in hell now? Yes, and I'm going to touch on that in some sense. Okay? Now, hell, let me touch on the first hell. The first hell I'm going to touch on is the hell which is a condition of oppression and so forth. The word hell here, it ain't talking about Christ went somewhere in the ground and was tormented, and God went and saved him out of some torment in the ground. You understand? Okay, he's talking about it just mean that Christ's soul wasn't left in the grave. The Christians and them teach when you die now, you're going to go to hell and you're going to be tormented. The Christians and them teach today, if you die now, you're going to go, and if you was good, you're going to go up in the sky, right, and live up in the sky. But what Christianity have done, they have mixed Greek mythology with the Bible. It also means Hades. You know, Hades is the god of the underworld. Okay? So what Christianity have done, it have mixed hell or Hades with the scriptures. So when they talk about hell, they really talking about Greek mythology. And the second form of hell is what? The grave or the earth.
A few moments later.
Now let me tell you, brothers and sisters, something. There is a form of hell. You understand? That the Bible speaks of, which I'm going to get into and explain it to you all, because you all need to know this. Jacob trouble, which is judgment day, when Christ going to return. This hell that I'm reading about here is not the grave. This is another form of hell that I'm reading about here.
Them, they ain't keeping no commandments. So when hell come to this place, you understand, these nations oppressing us, they're going to go through oppression as well, but they don't promise eternal life. Because they do, guess what? They're in the mix of their sin.
Yo, I'm telling you all, there is a judgment or a torment that's coming to the wicked on this earth.
Into hell.
So this is another form of hell. Read on.
Into the fire.
Into what?
The fire.
Read on.
That never shall be quenched.
And that fire will never be quenched. Read on.
Where their worm dieth not.
Where your worm dieth not, meaning your spirit is not going to die. You're going to be burning forever inside that flame of fire. Okay, this is the third form of hell. That's when the nuclear bomb drops. Imagine you getting burned like that forever. Imagine you getting burned like that forever because you can't keep your dick in your pants. Continue in that hot heat for 1,000 years or forever. And the thing about it, you ain't evaporating. You just feeling the pain. Imagine you getting burned like that forever because you can't keep your dick in your pants.
I want to give all the praises and the honor to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem, Racha HaKwadash, and double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of Great Millstone. Honors as well to you, brethren, fellow followers of this truth, of this faith, and shalom to the elect. So anyway, okay, I saw this video with IUIC. I believe this video is almost 7 hours long. I don't know if they had anything else to do, but hey, that was their class. So I skimmed through a little bit of it, and I saw this part with concerning the hell doctrine. And it's we touched on this before. I believe Apostle Tahar just did a revisited version on that video on that, and they're talking about the 1,000 years of torment and forever, right? So it seems as this Israelite group has never really let go Christianity, but they will talk about Christianity, but never truly let it go. And then he says, I believe they said the nations, they will burn in that fiery pit. Now, you have to understand that our people are scattered throughout the globe. So Babylon is one of the main places that's going to get burnt up. So what about everybody else? And then we need people in the kingdom. You know what? Let's get that real quick. I just thought of that real quick. Let's go to Isaiah 14. Right? It's like the way these guys thinking is how Edom would have set it up if they could. They destroy all of us and nobody be there to build up his kingdom. Well, they got to build up our kingdom. Right? So let's go to Isaiah real quick. Isaiah 14, and let's go to verse 1. It says, I'm going to read this version. The Lord will have compassion on Jacob. Once again, he will choose Israel and set them in their own land. The foreigner will join with them and unite with the house of Jacob, and that would be the strangers, Israelites. The nations will escort Israel and bring it to its homeland. Then the house of Israel will possess the nations as manservants and maidservants in the Lord's land. They will make captives who their captors and rule over their oppressors. Right? So the Most High, the mindset of these Israelites is really saying that the Most High has this particular type of anger, and he wasn't really in control, although we know man's going to the Lord, that he's that angry that he's just going to take his people that he created to be a chosen people and throw them in the fiery furnace. These people, which would be your loved ones, even if you're not of the elect, you will all get thrown in the fiery pit. Well, let's go into that. This word hell, I didn't pull up any of the scriptures on it because we see hell, and they're right on how hell can mean a condition, but actually means the grave, and a condition represents death, so it's really just the grave. And the Old Testament Sheol, which means the grave, right? That's the hell. But now when you go into the scriptures, the word hell also means Hades, which means the underworld, right? Which is when you die, you go in the underworld, if you want to call it, or a mythological thing they call it, which is no such thing. But you do go into the grave, right? Which is a Hades, is a grave. You also, there's also a hell that is actually a grave with fire. And this is what we've seen with Gehenna. Now I'm going to read a little of that, if I can remember where I pulled it up at. Just a little bit. This says, the hand of the foot. Let me get unquenchable Gehenna. Let me see that. Say that. Gehenna of the valley, which we've done videos on this. Gehenna of the valley of Hinnom lay to the south of Jerusalem, originally a pleasant suburb of the city. It became in later times the scene of the worship of Molech. If anybody Israelites, we know we are, right? Because that's what we did. We do that today. The most rebellious people are Israelites. That's how you know who's Israel. Israel. It says the abomination of the children of Ammon, on the account the valley was polluted by King Josiah. It thus became the receptacle of everything that was vile and filthy. These noisome accumulations were from time to time consumed by fire. And that's how you would make sacrifices with a witch, warlock, whatever you want to call it, or a person who was filthy. And it says, and things which were not consumed by the fire were the prey of worms. Hence, Gehenna became the image of the place of eternal punishment. So you got to understand, when this is written, you got to go back in time, the way they saw it and the way it was written. Because when you throw something in fire, it burns technically forever, or that's a period of time. Then it goes out. There's no returning from that lake of fire. And that's all this is saying. When you get burned, and it says burn forever in a lake of fire, they're looking at it in the time past as John the Revelator would have seen, and seeing the people are burned. Well, yeah, you're burned in a lake of fire, but your spirit still goes to the Heavenly Father. This also says this in Ecclesiastes. The spirit goes to one who gave it. But these guys are saying they're not Christians, right? So you don't go to heaven for the good people and the bad people go to hell. But in sense, initially, that's what they're still saying. If you're the elect, you're going to heaven. If you're the non-elect, you're going to go to hell and you're going to burn forever. You're saying the same thing. Gehenna became the image of the place of eternal punishment, where the worm dieth not and the fire is not quenched. These terrible images are conclusive as the eternity of future punishment, so far as our nature is concerned and our knowledge reaches. So, just because, let me go on, it says, they are the symbols of a certain dreadful realities, too dreadful for human language to describe or human thought to conceive. Mark 9:23. So a lot of times when you see this, your mindset is automatically on, you're going to burn in hell. Now, the Most High already knew who the elect was and who wasn't. So you mean to tell me he created these people, his people even, let me say that, just to toss them in a lake of fire, use them till they get to the judgment day. As they say, Jacob's trouble is actually judgment day, which you got a lot transpiring to get to that point when Yahweh shall return. So he created all these people from the beginning who he knew to be of the elect and non-elect, and say, you know what? Yeah, they was reserved for fire, but you know what? I'm going to burn them in fire for eternity. Even their loved ones, their sons, their daughters, their mamas, their mothers, their fathers, or their fathers, their mothers. It's not making any sense. Let's go to Romans 11:26. And so all Israel, when you look up there, where all, it's talking about everyone, as far as Israelites. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written. Right? So you have a deliverance and salvation, and then you have that Israelites will be actually saved, through the elect. There shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away from the ungodliness from Jacob. It says, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. How's that? The elect coming forth, and the only way to turn ungodliness from the rest of the Israelites is to destroy them on this side. It only makes sense. Right? So it's to turn away the ungodliness from Jacob. How would you do that? Wait a minute, I thought they all going to burn in hell. He's coming as a deliverer to turn away the ungodliness from Jacob. Wait a minute, I thought they was going to, the ungodly Jacob was just going to burn in hell for eternity. Yeah, they will burn in hell, which is the condition of the fiery pit of Babylon, but for a period of time. Now the Lord can slow down time and make it feel like a long time. I don't know. That's a possibility. They also go to Daniel 12:2. And many of them shall sleep in the dust of the earth and shall awake, some to everlasting life and some to everlasting shame and contempt. So they're saying that this is them burning in a lake of fire. No, they're going to wake up being ashamed of what they practiced and how they behaved. But the Lord promised that all Israel shall be saved. Hebrews 11:8. Hebrews 8:10. For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel. Right? With the house of Israel. The house is a people before a building. Well, as you're building, you tend to make a house. A house is a people. So let's see what this says. The house of Israel. Let's see what it says. Hebrews 8:10. For finding fault with them, I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel. Okay? It says, human body, abode of demons that possess it, fixed residence, the family of Yahweh, of the church, of the church of the Old and New Testaments, it says a stock, families, descendants of one. Okay? It says to the house of Israel. So that's what it's going into, the whole Israelites. It says Israel, it says the family of descendants of Israel, the nation of Israel. So you get this as a people. It also says, for not all those who draw their bodily descendant for Israel are true Israelites, i.e., are those whom pronounced to be Israelites and has been chosen salvation to Israel. So basically, these are different definitions. A family or descendants of Israel, the nation of Israel. So I just wanted to get that straight. He says, after those days, saith the Lord, I will put their laws, my laws in their mind. Now, they believe we're in the New Testament, I believe, the New Covenant. So if they already following God's laws, then why would they need to have the Lord put their laws in their minds? If they already have the laws and following the laws. So how would this be? He loved all Israel, the whole family, and write them in their hearts. Wait a minute. We're in the New Covenant, as they say. They don't need to have them written. I thought they already had them written in their hearts. So I guess they're saying these are the days that he wrote them in their heart. But let's see. I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people. But here's where it gets, tricky when you claim that this is already happening. First of all, if the Lord's going to put his laws into your mind and write them in your hearts, you can separate those two. I'm going to write them in the laws. I'm going to write my laws in your minds. Then they will be in your hearts, which means you will never sin again. It is now in your spirit. You mean the Lord is going to put his laws in your spirit, his laws, and write them in your heart, in your spirit, just so you can go out here and continue to sin? Anyway. And they shall not teach every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, know the Lord. So wait a minute. Seems to me we in the so-called New Covenant, they're still building. They're saying you got to keep the laws, and the Lord wrote them in your heart and everything else. So why are they still out teaching the neighbors? Why are they out still with this 12 tribes chart and going out teaching the people? Shouldn't have to do that. This proves we're not in the New Covenant. This also proves that at the end of it all, we will be made perfect, which goes back to completion. And the Most High is dealing with the whole house of Israel. It just starts with the elect. Let's get one more real quick. It's coming to my mind as I'm going along. Let's go to, I'm going to try to go to John 11. Sometimes it's the way the Spirit goes. John 11. Let's go to 11 and 49. I believe it's 11 and 49. 11:49. And what? Talking about the high priest, the chief priest. And one of them named Caiaphas, being the high priest, that same year said unto them, ye know nothing at all, nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people. Why do you think he died? He died for the Israelites, starting with the elect. You mean to tell me he died for them and then he's going to burn them in fire? Starting with the elect, though. We get that. And that the whole nation perish not. That's the key. That the whole nation perish not. Okay? And this spake he not of himself, but being a high priest that year, he prophesies that Yahushua should die for that nation. Says the whole nation. And not for that nation only, but that also he should be gathered together in one, the children of Yahweh that was scattered abroad. Right? So you have the Israelites that was scattered in the different nations. This is why you had a separation when it said, and not for that nation only, but that also should be gathered together in one, right? That's why you just can't read it like it is. You got to go into the proper context and understand it. But that also he should gather together. This is what James 1:1 has said. The 12 tribes are scattered abroad. And one of the children of Yahweh that was scattered abroad. Now you're going to have Israelites that look like other nations, partaking of other nations' practices. So if we was old school in ancient time and we looked and we seen this, we'd be like, "Dag, these people look like different nations." But no, it's the lineage running to the Israelites. But anyway, it just doesn't make sense of this hell doctrine. It carries on to other things. It just doesn't make sense because the Lord said all Israel shall be saved. That's all I have on that. Shalom.